The Aaron Cohen Show is brought to you by the Cherries Deep Concealment Holster. Same holster I trained Keanu on for the John Wick franchise. This thing runs BWB or below the waistband. Means it's never going to fall off you and zero digging into your gut. Also, fits all double stack 9 and 40 Glocks. You can see this thing is totally minimal. Very comfortable, fully adjustable clip, and it's ambidextrous lefties. You're covered. Also, lightning fast draw with just a little bit of training. Hit the link down in the description and grab yourself one of these bad boys. There's a bit of a lead time right now. This is a pre-order, but trust me, they're worth it. Finally carry with comfort and proper concealment. This is how you win a war. It's not through diplomacy, not through appeasement, through relentless force. The IDF has been crushing Hamas for 14 months, and now, after 471 days in captivity, the first 3 hostages are finally home. But make no mistake, Hamas didn't release them because they wanted to. They released them because they had no other choice. The IDF's operations on the ground and in the air have decimated Hamas leadership, destroyed their tunnel networks, and left them scrambling for survival. And then there's Trump. His message to Hamas was clear. Release the hostages before January 20th or face hell. And that wasn't a suggestion. That was a deadline. And Hamas understood exactly what was coming. They didn't comply. But this is far from over. There's still over 100 hostages left in Hamas captivity, and Israel's war isn't stopping. Hamas will likely breach the ceasefire. And beyond that, the real target, the real source of this terror isn't just Hamas, it's Iran. And on this episode, I'm going to break down exactly how Israel forced this hostage release, how Trump helped run the ball into the end zone, and why Hamas has no leverage in what's coming next, including how Trump and Bibi may already be setting the stage for the largest escalation in the Middle East yet. This is what victory looks like. 3 Israeli hostages, Romi Gonen, Emily Damari, and Doron Steinbrecher, are finally free after 471 days in Hamas captivity. But I want to be clear. This was not a peace deal. This wasn't diplomacy. This isn't weakness on Israel's part or a bad deal. This is the direct result of military pressure and political strength. Hamas never releases hostages unless they're forced to. And this time they were backed into a corner so tight, they had no other choice. And for months, Israeli forces have been systematically dismantling Hamas, killing their commanders, destroying their weapons depots, and eliminating their ability to fight. And every day Hamas was losing territory, losing operatives, losing control. And this wasn't some goodwill gesture. Hamas is pure evil. And here's the kicker. This isn't even close to over. Hamas thinks they can slow down Israel's military momentum with hostage negotiations. Not even close. They're dead wrong, and Israel isn't stopping. This is just a tactical pause. And if they think they're safe now, they're about to find out just how wrong they are. So enjoy your little parades in the street. It's about to get dialed up. But welcome to the Middle East. And welcome to the gaslighting, the propaganda, Al Jazeera funded by Qatar, and all the nonsense messages being put out right now. Hamas wasn't at the negotiating table because they wanted peace. They were there because they were losing. This is what winning looks like. Let me break this down. I want to start with Operation Iron Swords. Monster Israeli airstrikes obliterated Hamas stockpiles for the last 14 months. Command centers, stockpiles gone. Then you have Operation Northern Storm. That was the IDF ground forces taking control of key Hamas strongholds, eliminating top commanders and fighters. Then you had the third phase, which was Operation Deep Strike. Israeli fighter jets targeted Hamas leadership bunkers, cutting the head off the snake. And the fourth layer, of that pressure cooker campaign, the tunnel warfare where Israel systematically destroyed Hamas's underground networks, cutting off their ability to maneuver and to hide. Units like Yachlom, the elite engineer sapper unit, Sheldag, Matkal Sheyetet. This was about dismantling Hamas's warfare capability. They weren't negotiating from a position of strength. Let me make that clear. They were negotiating that they weren't going to lose everything. And what does that tell you? Hamas is vulnerable and there's pressure points. Bibi understands that, and he's understood it the whole time. And so does David Barnea, the head of the Mossad, who teed up these negotiations. This is how you deal with terrorists. You don't beg. You don't negotiate. You make it clear that if they don't comply, their days are numbered. And Hamas wasn't just afraid of the IDF. They were afraid of what was coming next under the Trump administration. Let's talk about the major shift in the Middle East and the difference between Biden's deal and the New Deal, which are the same. But here's the difference. For over a year, Biden did nothing but stall. Slowed weapons rolling shipments, called for pauses, pressured Israel to minimize civilian casualties. And what about Hamas? Zero. They took advantage every single day. They used every pause to regroup, rearm, stall for more time, move the hostages around because that's what they do. And then Trump steps in and gets elected because everyone gets tired of this crazy left woke nonsense. And in one sentence, one ultimatum, release the hostages before January 20th or face hell. And suddenly Hamas wasn't stalling anymore because they knew exactly what that meant. And they saw Trump and what he did to ISIS. And they saw what he did to Soleimani. Bye-bye. And then knew that if they didn't act fast, guess what? They were next. So this is the difference between weakness and strength. Biden begged Hamas to play nice. Trump made them an offer they couldn't refuse. Welcome to the Middle East. And that's why the hostages are home. That's why Hamas caved. And that's why for the first time in this war, the terrorists are the ones who are finally running scared. Make no mistake. They've been running scared for the last 14 months. But the moment Trump signaled, I want him back by the 20th, Pitom yesh lanu deal. All of a sudden, yesh po iskem, there's a deal on the table. And some people will say, wait, wasn't that the same deal that Biden offered back in May? Here's my answer. Yes, it was technically the same deal, but this is not the same Middle East. And the game has changed. And Israel's the one who changed it. Since then, Israel has executed a series of incredible military operations that have fundamentally altered the landscape of the entire region, eliminating Hamas leadership, the entire leadership structure, Sinwar, Daef, Abu Marzouk, gone, Khalis, goodbye, litraot, you're done. Hamas is a headless snake. That's probably why they couldn't find the names of the three hostages they were releasing. And then let's talk Hezbollah. They didn't just take out Hamas. Israel went after Hezbollah. Hassan Nasrallah, dead. Hezbollah's forces, crippled. Iran's proxy war against Israel. Missiles still coming in from the Houthis, but they're about to get handled quick. Get ready. So what's the regional impact? The entire Middle East sees Israel differently. They're not just defending themselves. They're dominating. They're speaking the language of the Middle East. And this isn't 2024 anymore. And Israel has reset the balance of the power. Now that Trump is in, with my buddy Mike Waltz, my favorite Green Beret and the new National Security Advisor, get ready. So let me say this. Hamas is just a puppet. The real power behind them, Iran. And now it looks, in my opinion, that Trump and Bibi are going to set their sights on taking the fight to Iran. Let's just get through this inauguration. And so what happens next? What does that look like, Aaron? Here's what I see. One, expanded Israeli airstrikes targeting Iranian weapons factories, drone facilities, and missile sites, continuing inside Syria and Lebanon and into Iran. You're going to see more covert Mossad operations, now specifically targeting Iranian Quds Forces commanders, like Israel just did with all the Hamas leadership. They're going to start to go. And that U.S.-Israeli joint pressure, Trump isn't just backing Israel's war on Hamas. He understands Iran's nuclear sites, the oil shipments, the economy, and he's about to start squeezing. And so destroying Iran's nuclear program once and for all, that's going to be the big kill. And Israel's already proven they can infiltrate Iran's nuclear sites, Natanz, Fordow, Iraq. But this time, it's not just going to be sabotage. I believe we're looking at total elimination. Let me make this clear. Israel doesn't beg. Israel fights. That's why the hostages are home, the first 3. And this war isn't over. The IDF needs to keep pushing forward, and the world will ultimately stand behind Israel. As this thing continues to unfold over the next 16 days and then into phase 2 and phase 3, I'm going to come back to this. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. If you guys are a fan of the show, do me a favor, hit the link down in the description and grab yourself a mini sponsorship package. They help keep the lights on in the studio and helps me to continue to combat that anti-Israel garbage misinformation. Hit the link down in the description and join my season 1 sponsorship team. And let's fight this mission together. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching the Aaron Cohen Show. Got hostages home. Take a win. I'll catch you guys shortly on the next one.